Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu was-salamu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. Inshallah, today we will continue and we will take the remaining part of Surah Al-Hajj first, and then we will take the Surah Al-Mu'minun, and then maybe we will start Surah Nur. Surah Nur, make a note please. Surah Nur, I want to spend a lot of good time on it. I don't want to rush Surah Nur. Yeah, Surah Nur is very important for us to understand. Essential for us to understand Surah Nur properly. Yeah. So what you should do today and tomorrow, you should study Surah Nur. Yes. Today and tomorrow, study Surah An-Nur, please. Surah Nur is Nur. Yes, Surah Nur is Nur. It is the Nur, the light of Iman, Surah Nur. The closer we are to Surah Nur, the more enlightened we are by Allah Ta'ala's Iman. Therefore, it is very important that we study it properly. So inshallah, today I intend to maybe, if we have time, go over it briefly. But most probably, I will go over it tomorrow. But we want to do it in detail, inshallah. Okay, we are in the third group of surahs. The third group of surahs is all about motivation, that haqq will always prevail over the batil. And we have looked at many things in this group, starting with Surah Yunus and Hud, proofs for haqq. Then Surah Yusuf, story of haqq that always prevails over batil. Surah Ra'd and Ibrahim, it provided us with many similitudes of haqq and batil. Surah Al-Hijr and Surah Al-Nahl talked about the haqq, especially the Quran being the haqq, and it has been preserved in letter and in understanding. These are titles I have suggested for these surahs. As I mentioned, that you should have some titles of your own through your study. Surah Al-Isra and Kahf, the title I think, Wallahu Alam, and they can be different titles, yeah? Of course, this is just an understanding. It seems like Surah Al-Kahf, Surah Isra and Surah Kahf are the past, present and future of the fight between Haqq and Batil. They have been explained. And then Surah Maryam and Taha, they are, especially Surah Maryam is the Batil in terms of the belief, and the Haqq, the comparison. And Surah An-Anbiya and the Hajj that we started yesterday, they both talk about initially the Akhirah as the Haqq. Yeah, so this is just some rough ideas. Now we should think about these things and think about what does this surah mean, what is it focusing on, etc. Surah Al-Hajj then, I mentioned yesterday that the first 24 ayat are Makki, revealed in the end of the Makki period. Yes, they start by mentioning the last hour, and that the batil can, it argues, but it has no basis, no argument, no ilm, no kitab. And then there was a comparison between the punishment and the reward of the disbelievers, the people of batil, and the believers, the mu'mineen. And then some signs in our creation have been given for the proof of resurrection. So now the remaining part of the surah from ayah 25 onwards is Madani. Okay, and you will see that shift in the surah. You can hopefully appreciate that shift in the surah between the ayat where they are Makki. Makki Quran is more about the ayat in ourselves, our creation, in the creation around us, and in history. That is more Makki style. You can find that. And Madani is addressing the believers in how to now live a collective life as a state, as a government, as a nation, as an ummah, as a nation, as a global entity. So what to do, how to live, etc. This is Madani Quran. Madani Quran is only 1/3 of the whole Quran. 2/3 of the Quran is Makki, which tells us that Iman is more important. Yes, Iman in Allah, the Risala and Akhirah, to have that and to be strong in that Iman is more important than the Ahkam. Yeah, the Ahkam are the tip of the iceberg, if you like. Of course, they're important because they are the manifestation of our belief. Our Amal al-Salihah. Okay. Khair. Anyway, Surah Al-Hajj, the next section is all about essentially looking at the legitimacy of what will now happen against the Quraysh. Yes? It talks about the haqq. Who has the right to be the custodians of Kaaba? Who has the rights or have the right to be the leadership in this Arabian Peninsula? Yes, who has the right and on what basis do they have the right and who does not have the right? So who are batil and who are the people of haqq? So let's inshallah share the screen with you now at this point. Ibrahim, can you come and sit over here, please? Thank you. Okay, so haqq and batil. Yes, haqq and batil. Surah Al-Hajj will talk about, just getting this ready for us to, if we want to do some annotation. Surah Al-Hajj, as it says here, the central theme, the crimes of the mushrikeen of Makkah have been mentioned in this surah, and especially this section now, and the legitimacy of war against them. Yes, the legitimacy of war against the Makkans now, because they have transgressed the limits, they have done zulm. Now adl is to now punish people who deserve the punishment and to restore the right, the justice of Allah Ta'ala only being the sovereign in this region. So the crimes of the mushrikeen of Makkah and the legitimacy of war against them, Muslims should remember obedience of Allah, they should be concerned about the worship of Allah, the da'wah, and the objective behind jihad and war and establishment of an Islamic government have been mentioned in this, and these are essentially لِكَلِمَةِ اللَّهِ هِيَ الْعُلْيَا لِكَلِمَةِ اللَّهِ هِيَ الْعُلْيَا, in order to make Allah's word the highest, the sovereign, the supreme, to make Allah Ta'ala number one in everything. Okay. So as I said, the section now, let's take from 25 to 38. The Muslims are legitimate caretakers of the Kaaba, not the mushrikeen. Let's take ayah 25 of Surah Al-Hajj. Ayah 25. Regarding the mushrikeen, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا وَيَصُدُّونَ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ وَالْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ. These people, they not only disbelieved, but they are actually stopping people from Masjid al-Haram. Yes, the Masjid al-Haram, can we stop this activity? It's distracting you, please. Masjid al-Haram, as we know, Allah Ta'ala, He sent Ibrahim alayhi salam to purify it. Yes, to purify it and to build it for the sake of people to worship Allah. Yes, this is the whole objective of Masjid al-Haram. But they are not using it for that. In fact, they are stopping those who are trying to do what Allah Ta'ala wants to be done in Makkah, in Masjid al-Haram. So Allah Ta'ala is saying that these people, they are the people who do not have the right to be here. Because here, as you can see, Ibrahim salam, he was told first and foremost that Allah tushrik bihi shay'a. Okay, this is the whole objective of Masjid al-Haram, that Allah Ta'ala is not associated with here. He is worshipped alone here. That is why Allah Ta'ala has commanded Ibrahim alayhi salam to build Masjid al-Haram and the Kaaba. And these people are hunafa lillah. The people who are the custodians of the Kaaba, they are hunafa lillah, ghayra mushrikeen bih. They do not associate partners with Allah. They are solely devoted to Allah alone. They're mukhlis. And then an example has been given of the people who yushrik billah, whoever associates partners with Allah, this person is completely at the very interesting example. Read the example, yeah, the ayah. I'm going to read it to you, but read the ayah in English. But this is essentially a person who is at the mercy of the waves and the wind, meaning will go with the flow. Yeah, the person who does shirk with Allah will go with the flow, will not be steadfast, okay, and will be lost essentially. And then Allah Ta'ala mentions in 2 ayat the heart, the heart, which is the essential thing, yeah, in Iman. The Iman, because shirk is not having Iman in Allah alone and worshipping alone. So Allah mentions that the sha'a'ir Allah, the symbols of Allah, yeah, the rites of Hajj, etc. These are all sha'a'ir Allah, and whoever respects, upholds them, obeys them, carries these out in the manner that Allah Ta'ala He has prescribed, His Messenger Ibrahim and then Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they have shown us. These people who will honor these by practicing these, فَإِنَّهَا مِن تَقْوَى الْقُلُوبِ. تَقْوَى الْقُلُوبِ. This will lead to the piety of the hearts. Yes, so these are very important. The sha'a'ir Allah, they are very important. Allah Ta'ala has created these as the means of the taqwa in the heart. And may Allah Ta'ala give us taqwa in the heart in this month of taqwa. Ameen, Ya Rabbal Alameen. And Allah Ta'ala mentions the heart again. الَّذِينَ إِذَا ذُكِرَ اللَّهُ وَجِلَتْ قُلُوبُهُم. Which surah does that remind you of? Surah Al-Anfal. Very good. Surah Al-Anfal, the first few ayat. الَّذِينَ إِذَا ذُكِرَ اللَّهُ. Whenever Allah is mentioned, and in the mention of Allah, their hearts tremble. وَالصَّابِرِينَ عَلَى مَا أَصَابَهُم. And these are the people who are steadfast in all the difficulties that they face in life for the cause of Allah. Now you have to understand this, yeah? The mindset I want you to have now is believers are now going to Medina. We are going to Medina, and we are going to establish the deen there. And then we are going to take those people who don't have the those people who do not have the right to be in Makkah, we will remove them from that. We will remove those people from there. They don't have the right to be in Makkah. Okay? And so we are going to face all types of difficulties. Okay? This is for those people. Either so their hearts they tremble from the zikr of Allah, and they will do everything in their power against all the odds. وَالْمُقِيمِ الصَّلَاةِ. And they will establish the prayer. وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. And they will do infaq for this cause. Okay? Now this this section, this ayah 35, you have to connect it. This 35 ayah, you have to connect it with one other ayah, which I'm trying to find here. With ayah 54. Ayah 54. Yes. And one other ayah that I can't remember now. Anyway, we'll come to it, inshallah. Okay, so this is the context. And then Allah mentions the spirit of sacrifice. Yeah, when people go to Hajj, the spirit of sacrifice is that لَن يَنَالَ اللَّهَ لَحُومُهَا وَدِمَاؤُهَا. Yes, the blood or the flesh is not what Allah Ta'ala desires. It doesn't reach Allah, of course not. In fact, it is consumed by us, the human. What reaches Allah, وَلَكِنْ يَنَالُهُ التَّقْوَى مِنْكُمْ. It is the taqwa that Allah Ta'ala, He accepts, yes, and He rewards. He rewards what is in the heart, the taqwa. Okay, from ayah 38 onwards now, ayah 38 to 41 we will see now. Allah Ta'ala is now giving the believers in Makkah who have come to Medina now. Because in Makkah, the order was not to retaliate to the oppression, the physical oppression of the mushrikeen, not to retaliate to it, not to fight against it, but to bear it, okay, to bear it. And the only thing that the believers could do to avoid it was to do hijrah to Abyssinia, okay. But now Allah Ta'ala, He is giving the permission to the believers to defend themselves. And in fact, Allah Ta'ala is saying, now that we have done hijrah, now I will defend you. And I am giving you now permission in the next ayah to fight those people who are going to fight you. Okay, so express permission has been given to defend yourselves, number one, here. And then afterwards, to carry out the offensive as well. Yes, once we have moved to Medina. Inna Allah yudafi'u anil ladina amanu. Allah, He defends those who have believed, subhanallah. Yudafi'u anil ladina, anil, and means on behalf of the believers, Allah, He will defend. Allahu Akbar. Imagine if we have the defense of Allah, then whose defense can penetrate that? Nobody, yeah? Nobody can then do anything to us. Inna Allah la yuhibbu kulla khawanin kafur. Allah does not like those treacherous, ungrateful people, the mushrikeen, who break all their promises, especially the promise with Allah. Udhina lilladhina yuqataluna bi annahum zulimu. Udhina. Udhina is now you have been given permission for those people, you people who are being fought by the Quraysh, yes? Because of the oppression. Okay, this is oppression, and you are wronged. وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى نَصْرِهِمْ لَقَدِيرٌ. And indeed, Allah Ta'ala, He is all able to give you victory. And the surah will also mention, if I forget, He is mentioning it now, in case I forget, whoever gives a victory to Allah, Allah will give that person victory. Yes, whoever gives victory to the deen of Allah, then Allah gives those people victory. And these people, الَّذِينَ أُخْرِجُوا مِنْ دِيَارِهِمْ, the companions and the Prophet ﷺ and the companions are the people who were exiled from their homes. They were evicted. بِغَيْرِ حَقٍّ, without any just reason. Yes, this is unjust. Except their crime was إِلَّا أَن يَقُولُوا رَبُّنَا اللَّهُ, but they said Allah is our Lord alone. Yeah, and then Allah mentioned that this sunnah of Allah, that He defends and He protects the true believers. If He did not do this, then all the places of worship would have been desecrated and demolished by the mushrikeen and the shayateen. Remember, Allah, He has all power and ability. Then Allah is saying to the believers, when you establish yourselves in Makkah, in Medina first, and then in Makkah, this is your explicit manifesto. Okay, explicit manifesto, what you will do. Okay, Inna alladhina immakkannahum fil ard. First thing is those people who we give stability in the earth. Okay, we give them authority. I mentioned this word a few times now. Tamkeen fil ard. Yeah. What will they do? First and foremost, aqamus salat. This is the first job of any Muslim community to do in the Muslim state. Establish the prayer. Establish the prayer means the prayer is the most important element of life. For this, in Surah Nur, we will find that Allah has mentioned that the masajid, yes, the houses of Allah, they should be raised. Okay, now raised can be meaning that they should be raised in honor, but also they should be physically visible in a community. Okay, the community center should be the masjid. It should be the center of the actual community, where you look outside your house and you can see the masjid. Okay, this is a salat, and then people should be taught how to pray. Everybody should be educated about the prayer, and they should establish it by praying. وَآتَوُا الزَّكَاةَ, and then the system of zakat should be in place to take the wealth from the rich and to redistribute it to those facets of faculties, or those factions rather, of the community that are in need of it. Okay, so that the wealth does not just circulate in the rich. No, it should be redistributed in the economy. وَأَمَرُوا بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, and they will enjoin what is right. So they will educate the awam, the public. So the education system, their curriculum, their education curriculum, their head of education, their education secretary, if you like, would be completely well versed with Quran and Hadith. Absolutely well versed with Quran and Hadith, because the objective is to teach them what is ma'ruf, what is best for you as a human, and to tell them what is harmful to you. You know, nowadays we have in schools safeguarding. You know, safeguarding, big thing at the moment, push. So this is safeguarding. Amar bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar. This would be the Islamic safeguarding people from the Jahannam and preparing them for the Jannah. Walillahi aqibatul umur, and then the matters in the end, they all belong to Allah, the outcome. So the Islamic government would establish this. 3 other things it would establish, which every government establishes in any state. It would establish peace internally, it would establish defense for the country, and it would establish, which is linked to zakat, an economy which provides the basic necessities to the residents or the citizens. Okay, so 7, if you like, 7 aspects of a state. 3 of them every state is doing, regardless of Muslim or not, but 4 only the Muslim state will do. Aqamu as-salat wa atu az-zakat, amar bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar. Amar bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar is the way to create a righteous society, which we will look at in Surah Nur, inshallah. Okay, so this is the manifesto. These are the objectives that the state has to carry out and fulfill. And then Allah Ta'ala is telling the believers, look, you are in this difficulty, yes, you're facing difficulties in your cause. Look at the previous nations. فَكَأَيٍّ مِّن قَرْيَةٍ أَهْلَكْنَاهَا وَهِيَ ظَالِمَةٌ فَهِيَ خَاوِيَةٌ عَلَى عُرُوشِهَا وَبِئْرٍ مُعَطَّلَةٍ وَقَصْرٍ مَشِيدٍ. Ayah 45, yeah? All these people that were committing wrong, just like the Quraysh, they are the same, yeah? They will have the same end. And then Allah mentions in Ayah 46, especially to the Quraysh, أَفَلَمْ يَسِيرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ, don't they travel in the earth? فَتَكُونَ لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ يَعْقِلُونَ بِهَا, and they have hearts by which to reason. Look at the previous nations, the people of Nuh, then Ad, Thamud, Lut, Salih, Musa. Look at all these people. Yes, you have hearts to think about, yeah? يَعْقِلُونَ بِهَا أَوْ آذَانٌ يَسْمَعُونَ بِهَا. They have ears, meaning the hearing of the heart. Listen to this, what we are saying, and think about it. فَإِنَّهَا لَا تَعْمَى الْأَبْصَارِ. Then Allah Ta'ala is saying, it is not the eyes, yeah, the physical eyes that become blind. وَلَكِنْ تَعْمَى الْقُلُوبِ. But the hearts they become blind. Allati fi sudur, that are in the chests. So Allah Ta'ala is saying, everything is there for you to learn from, but you still want to disobey. وَيَسْتَعْجِلُونَكَ بِالْعَذَابِ, and indeed, instead of listening, they are always hastening the adhab. وَلَنْ يُخْلِفُ اللَّهُ وَعْدَهُ, and Allah Ta'ala is saying, Allah will never ever go against His promise. What are you focusing on? I don't understand. Allah will never go against His promise. One, His promise that He will punish you if you don't believe, and due to the promise to the believers that He will give them victory. And Allah Ta'ala is saying, Inna yawman inna rabbika ka'alfi sanatin mimma ta'udun. The days in Allah Ta'ala's reckoning and His account are 1,000 years. Yeah. So Allah Ta'ala is saying, don't hasten, don't. Even the believers, yeah, we should not be hasty. That why isn't change coming quickly? Why doesn't everything change overnight? Why is this? No, it takes time. Our job is to do our part. Okay, let's move on. So Allah Ta'ala is telling us, look at the previous nations. This is what happened. So it will take time. So the believers will be rewarded, and the people, وَالَّذِينَ سَعُوا فِي آيَاتِنَا, those people who are striving against our signs, meaning they are against us, mu'ajizina, trying to cause it to fail. أُولَٰئِكَ أَصْحَابُ الْجَحِيمِ, they will end up in the Jahannam. So you should not worry about this. Okay, moving on. Ayah number, we want to take now ayah 62. About haqq and batil. So it talks about Allah Ta'ala's ayat, the ayat in Allah's creation. Then it says, ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الْحَقِّ. All these signs have been given to you because Allah, He is al-haqq. Al-haqq, the one who exists, yes, who creates with purpose. وَأَنَّمَا يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِهِ هُوَ الْبَاطِلِ. Whoever you ask, you pray to other than Allah, you call upon, they are batil, they are a figment of your imagination. وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الْعَلِيُّ الْكَبِيرُ. Indeed, Allah, He is Al-Ali, the highest, Al-Kabir, the greatest. So in this surah, a lot of the attributes and the names of Allah show His grandeur and His power. So the haqq is Allah's and the batil is what you are calling towards. And then in ayah 70, Allah Ta'ala, He warns people. Yeah. Alam ta'lam anna Allah ya'lamu ma fi as-sama'i wal ard. Don't you know that Allah knows everything in the heavens and the earth? Meaning whatever you're doing, Allah knows. So for the mushrikeen, this is a warning, and for the believers, this is a reconciliation to them and strengthening them that Allah knows what's happening. Inna dhalika fi kitab, it is written. Inna dhalika ala Allah yasir. Allah Ta'ala, it is very easy for Allah to know all of this. Of course, He is. Wa ala kulli shay'in qadir. And وَيَعْبُدُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ مَا لَمْ يُنَزِّلْ بِهِ سُلْطَانًا وَمَا لَيْسَ لَهُمْ بِهِ عِلْمٌ وَمَا لِلظَّالِمِينَ مِن نَصِيرٍ. They are worshipping other than Allah without authority, yes, and knowledge. And remember, these zalimeen, these wrongdoers, nobody will help them. Nobody will give them victory. They will not be victorious. You will be victorious. And then I want to focus on this last section of this surah, very important section. Ya ayyuhan nas, O mankind, ضُرِبَ مَثَلٌ فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ. Look at this example, think about it. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ لَن يَخْلُقُوا ذُبَابًا وَلَوْ اجْتَمَعُوا لَهُ. Allah Ta'ala is giving us an example. Imagine those who you call other than Allah, they don't even have the ability to create the smallest of insects, a fly. Let alone you creating them creating a fly. وَإِن يَسْلُبُهُمُ الذُّبَابُ شَيْئًا لَا يَسْتَنْقِذُوهُ مِنْهُ. Even if, for example, a fly was to come and take something, you know, like a lot of the religions, they offer sweets to their god or goddesses or gods. Allah Ta'ala is saying, if a fly comes and snatches even one part of that offering from you, yes, then you cannot retrace it. You cannot replace it. You cannot get it back. Okay? ضَعُفَ الطَّالِبُ وَالْمَطْلُوبُ. This is the problem. The problem is you don't realize that the thing you are seeking is weak and needy, and you are weak and needy. So why are you worshipping or calling upon things that themselves are in need? Yes, and now I want to make a point here. Can you make understand this? Yeah, this phrase ضعف الطالب والمطلوب. You are weak, the seeker, and what you are seeking is weak. Yes, meaning that you are both weak. Yes, okay. You understand? Yeah, good. It is against human rights. It is against human rights. This is violation of human rights. The greatest violation of human rights is that a person bows to something that is created. This is the greatest violation of a human right. Nobody is marching against this though. Okay? That a person, okay, a human being creates an idol which is less than it, and even let's say it's equal, yeah? Let's just, for argument's sake, is equal in that because it's creation as well. And then you lower yourself in front of it. This is a violation of human rights. So shirk is the greatest violation of Allah's rights and the greatest violation of human rights. Shirk. ضَعُفَ الطَّالِبُ وَالْمَطْلُوبُ. This also means that you have got very low aspirations. You are low and your aspirations are low. You are low and your aspirations are also very, very low. Okay, moving on. مَا قَدَرُ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِهِ. SubhanAllah, this is the crux of it all. They did not appreciate and they did not give this the position and rank to Allah that He deserves. Yes. If they had done that, then, sorry, brothers and sisters, I'm very sorry. I have muted everybody, but I can still hear somebody. I'm not sure who it is. If you could please, maybe it's this one. I'm not sure what it is. If you could just mute yourself in case you are not muted, please. Yeah? Jazakumullah khair. Okay. They did not appreciate who Allah is. Yes. Inna Allah laqawiyyun aziz. He is the most powerful, the most irresistible. This is Allah. Okay. How can you associate something with you? How can you think that something is like Allah or part of Allah or Allah is part of something? I mean, it's nonsense. Absolutely. Your fitrah will say no to it. Your mind will say no to it. Everything will say no to it. This is munkar. Munkar is that which you naturally dislike. Munkar. Ma'ruf is that which you naturally recognize to be right. Ma'ruf and munkar. Yeah? And then Allah is mentioning that He has chosen, Allahu yastafi min al-malaikati rusulan wa min al-nas. He has chosen from His creation messengers from the angels like Jibreel alayhi salam and from the mankind, all the messengers and the last messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. And Allah Ta'ala, He knows and He sees everything. He has chosen these messengers, and then Allah Ta'ala, He commands us. I'm not going to read the Arabic. I will just read the English. But this is what Allah Ta'ala is telling the believers. You have to have now these qualities, yeah? From this ayah till the end of the surah. Because I had a question yesterday, how do we achieve this haqq? Yeah, how are we going to be victorious over the batil? This is how we are going to be victorious over batil. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Allah Ta'ala is saying, bow down to Allah, meaning obey Him and prostrate to Him. Of course, this can mean salah as well. Wa'budu rabbakum. And worship your Lord. Worship. Worship means udkhulu fi silmi kaffa. Submit to Him in every single aspect of your lives, O believers. We cannot be like Bani Israel, where they took part of the book and they ignored the other parts. This is a disobedience of Allah. This causes the wrath and anger of Allah. Waf'alul khair, and do good. This means be at the forefront of doing what's good for you and everybody. Yes, waf'alu means you should be the most active and at the front of all the best things that can be done for the humanity. And the best thing for humanity is to believe and follow Allah Ta'ala. Yes? So if you worship Allah and you do best for people, which is to call them to Allah, then you will be successful. You will be successful in this life, but more importantly, in the hereafter, you will be successful. Now, in the Madani period, in the beginning, the believers were weak. Yeah, believers are weak. When the believers came to Medina, the Muslim Ummah, the Muslim state, Medina, is weak. Economically, it's not stable, that stable. And it needs to have a defense mechanism. It needs to have an army, etc. So Allah Ta'ala is saying now to the believers, وَجَاهَدُوا فِي اللَّهِ حَقَّ جِهَادِهِ. You now have to now strive, O believers, as much as is the right of the striving. So this is a phrase to say you have to do your best, earn the money you can, establish the borders, defense, be strong in your iman, first and foremost. وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Be together and gather the money and the means and the resources to be able to defend and fight the enemy. Because هُوَ اجْتَبَاكُمْ, because he has chosen you, O believers. He's talking to the Ummah of the Prophet ﷺ. وَمَا جَعَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ مِنْ حَرَجٍ. And because you have a mighty task, listen to this please carefully, yeah? Because you have a mighty task and an objective, a supreme objective. That's why Allah, He has made your life easy for you. He has made the deen to ease your life to be able to fulfill these duties. This is the whole objective. You see, you understand this now, yeah? I hope, inshallah. All the ease that this deen brings is because we are here for a mission. If we are not on a mission, then it's, to be very frank, it's all irrelevant. All irrelevant. Yeah? So Allah Ta'ala is saying this deen is easy for you because you are on a mission. Millata abikum Ibrahim, you are the same deen, you are the same as Ibrahim alayhi salam. Huwa sammakum al-muslimina min qablu wa fi hada. And Allah, He has given you the name, He has given you the title Muslim, Muslimin, in the past and in this Quran. So the people who believe in Allah and the Messenger, the only title they accept is Muslim. Muslim. Nothing before Muslim, nothing after Muslim. Yes, we are not this type of Muslim or that type of Muslim. We do not call ourselves anything but Muslim, full stop. And the objective of us being Muslim, لِيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ شَهِيدًا عَلَيْكُمْ, so that the Prophet ﷺ will be a witness on the Day of Judgment. وَتَكُونُ شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ, and you will be a witness upon mankind on the Day of Judgment. The Prophet ﷺ will be asked, did you convey the message? And we will be asked, did you convey the message of Islam to people by establishing it, living it, establishing its system of salah, zakat, amar bil ma'ruf wa nahi anil munkar. فَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ. So Allah Ta'ala is then saying, therefore, you have this mission, you have to start with salah. As-salat. As-salat is the pillar, as we will find in the next surah. Mu'minun, subhanallah. This is beautifully linked to the next surah. Yeah? How are we going to become strong? Through salah. فَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ, and establish the zakat. وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ. In Surah which surah was it? وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ? Ali Imran. In Ali Imran, Allah Ta'ala says, hold on fast to the rope of Allah, the Quran. Here He's saying, wa'tasimu billah. Yes, cling to Allah. Be close to Allah. Okay, Allah is on your mind and in your heart all the time. Dhikrullah. Know the objective of your life and live for Allah, die for Allah, give for Allah, restrain for Allah, everything for Allah. Huwa mawlakum, subhanallah. He's your mawla. He is the one who loves you the most, protects you the most, helps you the most. Allahu Akbar. If we have Allah as mawla, then who can do anything? Nobody, huh? Nobody can do anything. فَنِعْمَ الْمَوْلَى. He is the best mawla. He's the best Nasir, the best one who can give victory. And this was the response to the Quraysh, I think in the battle of Badr, after Badr, yeah, or no, Uhud. Badr. When the Abu Jahl, Abu Jahl was killed in Badr, wasn't he? And I think Abu Sufyan maybe. He asked the believers, what has happened now? He was asking, and the response came that our dead are in the Jannah and you are in the hellfire. I think Uhud, after Uhud, yes, to Abu Sufyan, I think. And it was said that Allah is our Mawla. Okay, Allahu Mawlana wa la Mawla lakum. And you have no Mawla, you have no protector. Yeah, and in the Quran it mentions also. So Allah Ta'ala, He is with the believers, but we have to establish this, yeah, in our lives, and we should be striving in our lives for this, the establishment of this haqq, the right of Allah. Okay? Okay, we move on to Surah Al-Mu'minun now. Surah Al-Mu'minun. Surah Al-Mu'minun and then Surah Nur, these two surahs, these are the last two surahs of this group of Haqq and Batil, yeah? Surah Mu'minun, Surah Nur. So let's see the relationship between these two surahs. Surah Al-Mu'minun is building us as individuals. Individual. So we will find in here the person who wants to be a person of Haqq now. Yeah, so we have been studying about Haqq and Batil for a few days now, yeah? So it should have come to our mind and our hearts that, am I a person of Haqq or not? Okay? How do I know if I'm on the Haqq or not? So Allah Ta'ala gives us a checklist for every individual to check himself if I am on the Haqq or not. Am I on the Haqq or not? Am I on the Haqq or not? Am I on the Haqq or not? Yes, checklist. What characteristics, sifat should I have to be a person who is on the Haqq? Because this community is like a wall, yeah? Like a wall. I'm trying to build a wall here now. Draw a wall. Okay? It's like a wall. And every one of us is a brick in this wall. Okay? Okay? So Surah Mu'minun tells us at the individual level, how do you become a strong brick for this wall? كَأَنَّهُمْ بُنْيَانٌ مَرْصُوصٌ, as Surah Saf will mention. Checklist for the people of Haqq as a person. Surah Nur tells us a checklist for the whole ummah. Are you on the Haqq or not? This is collective. Surah Nur is collective. Yes? Collectively, sorry, I ran out of space. Collective checklist criteria for Haqq is a society. It is the Haqqometer. Yeah? Haqqometer. How close is a community to the truth or not? The criteria is given in Surah An-Nur. For the individual, each person, the criteria checklists have been given in Surah Al-Mu'minun. Now, when I say these things, it doesn't mean that the surah doesn't mention anything else, obviously, yes? These are just things I'm picking to give you structure to learn. Otherwise, of course, there are other aspects that are mentioned in Surah Mu'minun and Surah Nur. Okay, Surah Al-Mu'minun now. Surah Mu'minun revealed in the 7th year of Nabawi along with Surah Furqan. It was a difficult time. There was a famine, had just ended. So in these times, Allah Ta'ala is saying, it is only those who take a lesson from the consequence of previous nations, acquire correct belief of Tawheed and Akhirah, and accept the Prophet ﷺ, that will be the true believers. Okay, so true believers, these are true believers. Yeah? Only these true believers will be successful in this life and the inheritors of paradise, more importantly in the hereafter. Ameen. Allahumma rabba ja'alna minhum. So the characteristics of the true believers who will inherit paradise, and there's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ about this that mentions to Umar radiallahu anhu that 10 ayat have been revealed to me. The one who fulfills these 10 ayat, yes, whoever establishes these 10 would enter Jannah. Okay, subhanallah. What are these characteristics? So now your activity now should be, you are going to make a list of these characteristics. Okay. First characteristic of these successful people are قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. They are believers. Number one, they have iman. First and foremost and most important, iman. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ means, it's beautiful, really. It's amazing, subhanallah. This is a time when it was really difficult in Makkah. There was a famine and there's opposition, etc., etc. Allah Ta'ala is saying to the believers, you have already won. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ. The true believers have already won. Yes? Imagine that, subhanallah. Imagine you go into a game, if you're a footballer or whatever you play. Imagine you go into a game knowing that you're going to win. That gives you a lot of confidence, doesn't it? Yes, it gives you the upper hand. Spiritually and psychologically, you have the upper hand. Allah Ta'ala is saying, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. The true believers have already succeeded. Who are these people? They are people with iman. Number two, الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. They have khushu' in their prayer. They are submissive to Allah in their prayer. Khushu' in the prayer is to link with Allah by knowing what you are saying in your prayer, first and foremost, isn't it? To know the meaning of what we are saying, at least. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ. These people, they do not spend their time on anything useless. Okay? They turn away from all useless activity. Laghav, remember yesterday I gave you two words. La'ib, play, lahu, distraction, and here's the third one, laghav. SubhanAllah, 3 words, and they're only 3 letters each. Yes? But they can destroy the life. Look at that. Isn't it amazing, eh? La'ib, play, entertainment. Lahu, distraction. Laghav, to do things which have no benefit. They waste your time. They erode your time. They turn away from this because they know time is money. Eh? Time is money. Wal asr. They know their time is running out. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ. They are active, proactive about their purification, about their tazkiyah. They are proactive about this. They know that their qalb, their nafs, needs to be purified. Otherwise, قَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. They will be destroyed. And they know that their instincts that Allah has given to them, one of the strongest instinct is this instinct of gender attraction. Yes, this is a very strong instinct Allah has created in man and woman for each other. Okay, and there is nothing wrong with it. It is Allah Ta'ala's blessing, because Allah Ta'ala has created this instinct for marriage and for the race to continue. But they know the sensitivity of this and the damage this can cause. So therefore, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ. They are they safeguard this instinct. Safeguarding, don't teach you about that in schools and colleges. They don't talk about safeguarding of your chastity. In fact, they tell you the opposite. Astaghfirullah. They guard their modesties. إِلَّا عَلَى أَزْوَاجِهِمْ, except for their wives, whom Allah has made halal for the husband and the wife. For them it is halal. And whoever wants to go beyond this marriage, أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْعَادُونَ, they are the transgressors. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِأَمَانَاتِهِمْ وَعَهْدِهِمْ رَاعُونَ. These people, they Ra'un means a shepherd, yeah? They look after, they are vigilant about any trusts and any promises. Okay? And I have no time to explain the many things to say, but anyway. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَى صَلَوَاتِهِمْ يُحَافِظُونَ, and they maintain their prayers consistently. Yeah, so these qualities, may Allah Ta'ala give us these qualities. And every one of us have our own challenges. Which one is most difficult? May Allah make it easy for us. Ameen. أولئك هم الوارثون الذين يرثون الفردوس هم فيها خالدون اللهم رب جعلنا منهم. Oh Allah, make us from amongst these people. Ya Allah, we are fasting for you. We are making dua to you. Oh Allah, make us write us now, Ya Allah, from these people. Write it for us. Write it for us, Ya Allah, now. Write it right for us right now, Ya Allah. In case we are misguided, Ya Allah, write it for us right now. Allahu Akbar. Khair. Some other qualities are given. I'm going to have to skip quite a few of the ayat that I was planning to look at. But khair, inshallah. The surah also mentions other nations to show the difficulty they went through, but they were believers. Allah Ta'ala helped them. They asked Allah, Rabbin Surni, Rabbin Surni. Yeah? Allah help us, give us victory. And Allah gave them victory. You believers, you will also be given victory by Allah, because you have these qualities. And then more qualities have been given in ayahs 57 to 61. You can add these to them now. 57 to 61. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ هُمْ مِنْ خَشْيَةِ رَبِّهِمْ مُشْفِقُونَ. They are fearful of Allah. They believe in Allah's ayat. They don't commit shirk. And they who give what they give while their hearts are fearful. They give in charity, but they are still fearful that whether Allah Ta'ala, He will accept it or not. They are أُولَٰئِكَ يُسَارِعُونَ فِي الْخَيْرَاتِ. They are the first to do good. So these are other qualities of the true believers. May Allah Ta'ala make us from these true believers. And if you add to that, there is another section in the Quran that gives us a list of believers' qualities, yeah? In Surah Al-Ma'arij, I'll write it for you, yeah? Surah Al-Ma'arij, from ayat 19 to 35, there is another set of qualities of the believers which are very similar to Surah Al-Mu'minun. So please make a note of that and make a list of those, inshallah. And then in the end, because of time, Allah Ta'ala, He is telling us, we take from ayah 70 onwards. Am yaquluna bi jinnah, they say that you are possessed, na'udhu billah. Say no. The haqq has come to him, yeah? He has brought the haqq, the Quran. And the problem is that you are only saying this, that he is possessed, because you don't like the truth, because the truth is bitter. Yes? You don't like justice. And remember, وَلَوِ اتَّبَعَ الْحَقُّ أَهْوَاءَهُمْ, if the truth was to follow their desires, yes, and this is so relevant to today's current context, yes, if the haqq, the truth from Allah, was to follow the desires of people, what would happen? لَفَسَدَتِ السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ وَمَنْ فِيهِنَّ. It would cause corruption and devastation to the heavens and the earth and everything in between it. And this is the problem, yeah? ظَهَرُ الْفَسَادِ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ بِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِي النَّاسِ. What people have done have destroyed the seas and the land. بَلْ آتَيْنَهُمْ بِذِكْرِهِمْ فَهُمْ عَنْ ذِكْرِهِمْ مُعْرِضُونَ. They are brought the reminder to them, but they turn away from it. And then Allah Ta'ala, He mentions to these people that Allah, He shows them His power. وَلَقَدْ أَخَذْنَاهُمْ بِالْعَذَابِ فَمَا اسْتَكَانُوا. But they still don't listen, just like this plague or this pandemic now, yeah? This is very relevant to this. وَلَقَدْ أَخَذْنَاهُمْ بِالْعَذَابِ. We gripped them with suffering as a warning, but they still didn't show their humility. وَمَا يَتَضَرَّعُونَ. And they do not supplicate to Allah. حَتَّى إِذَا فَتَحْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ بَابًا ذَا عَذَابٍ شَدِيدٍ إِذَا هُمْ فِيهِ مُبْلِسُونَ. But when it is too late, it will be too late. And Allah has given us the faculties of sight, and before that hearing and processing, but they are not grateful for it. And He gave you everything, and He creates and He resurrects everything. And then Allah Ta'ala is saying, the ayah I want to mention to you. Where am I? Sorry. Then in the end, Allah Ta'ala, He gives the believers some guidance on how to continue with your mission. idfa' billati hi ahsanu sayyi'ah. Repel by means of what is good to their evil. Yes, we mentioned this before as well, yeah, and it will come again in Surah Fussilat. Allah Ta'ala, He says, we know what they're doing, and seek Allah's refuge against shaitan and his plans. Yeah. And then Allah Ta'ala mentions their problem on the day of judgment will be that they will have no helper, and Allah, He will weigh the scales, and the people whose scales are heavy, they are muflihun. Yeah, muflihun are the successful people in the hereafter, but the people whose scales will be, their good deeds will be light, they are khasirun. Khasirun for them, they will wrong themselves. تَلْفَحُ وُجُوحَهُمُ النَّارُ وَهُمْ فِيهَا كَالِحُونَ. May Allah protect us from that. The fire will sear their faces, and they will have taut smiles. أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ ذَلِكَ. And then they will say, oh, how wretched we were. Yes, okay, and we were astray. And they will ask Allah Ta'ala to remove them, but it would be said to them, no, you remain there and do not speak to me. Allah Ta'ala is saying, do not speak to me. And they used to mock the believers, but Allah Ta'ala is saying to the believers, Inni jazaytuhumul yawma bima sabaru. Oh, you believers, true believers who have these qualities, we will give you the jaza today, the reward, because of your sabr. Yes. Annahum humul faizun. You are the successful people. Only you are successful. And then they will ask each other, how long did we stay? This life was such a small life. And then Allah Ta'ala says, do you think I created you for no reason? Do you think I created you and you wouldn't come back to me? Of course, fata'ala Allahul Malik. Allah Ta'ala, He is the King, Al-Haq. He is the Haq, and there is none worthy of worship except Him. So the people, وَمَنْ يَدْعُ مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ, the people who would call other than Allah, they have no burhan for that, they have no dalil, they have no proof for that. فَإِنَّمَا حِسَابُهُ إِنَّ رَبِّهِ. Allah will take account. إِنَّهُ لَا يُفْلِحُ الْكَافِرُونَ. This is the point I wanted to make. إِنَّهُ لَا يُفْلِحُ الْكَافِرُونَ. The kafirun, the disbelievers, will not be successful. لَا يُفْلِحُ الْكَافِرُونَ, in this life or thereafter. But the believers, in the beginning of the surah, Allah mentioned, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Yes, the truth about the matter of the success, the honor was given in the beginning of the surah. The disgrace of the disbelievers is given in the end of the surah. They will not be successful. And then you, O believers, you should say, Rabbi ighfir warham. O Allah, forgive us, have mercy upon us. Wanta khairur rahimin. You are the best of those who bestow mercy. Ameen. And this is a very beautiful dua. Rabbi ighfir warham. Wanta khairur rahimin. And the tafsir mentions here that this is a very comprehensive dua. Yes? Because it doesn't specify forgive what, and it doesn't specify give mercy for what, which means it encompasses everything you can imagine and more about Allah's forgiveness and His rahmah. So, Rabbi ighfir warham wa anta khairu rahimin. Ameen, 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 ya Rabbal Alameen. So tomorrow, inshallah, I will take Surah Nur in detail, inshallah. So please study Surah Nur and study it properly, inshallah. And if you can use this, the diagram, that inshallah it may guide you and help you to inshallah look at this aspects of Surah Nur as we have been trying to look at for each surah.